Fashion trends come and go. That's both good and bad. Good in that everyone likes change, and bad in that some trends are outright stupid. I mean, what's the deal with torn jeans? Since when did it become okay for us to wear clothes that look like they were ripped to shreds by a grizzly bear? Well, 2024 has also brought with it an explosion of new trends, and it's clear that people are more obsessed than ever with staying in the loop. But let's face it, this frenzy to fit in and look good is creating a lot of pressure and insecurity. While trends can be fun and symbolize the spirit of their time, they often distract us from a bigger issue. This one thing makes or breaks a man, how he looks and how he carries himself. Well, stick around as I dissect the hidden problems behind these fleeting trends and how you can stay up to date without giving into impulsive buys. The problem with fleeting fashion trends. So what's all the fuss about? Fast fashion, that's what. Brands are throwing out low-quality clothing without rest to keep up with the latest industry trends. They sell them at extremely low prices to hook in buyers, but then this puts them in an endless loop of buy and dump. Back in the day, fashion brands used to plan new styles months or even years ahead. The pace was slower and the choices were fewer, but it worked. Now, fast fashion zooms in on catching every twist in consumer tastes pronto. The idea is to respond to ever-changing consumer tastes as quickly as possible. For example, in the BBC's 2020 Breaking Fashion show, we saw Manchester-based fast fashion company In The Style reproducing a jacket worn by David Beckham. This company managed to have the piece designed, manufactured, and on sale within 10 days of Beckham first being seen in it. The rise of fast fashion is intertwined with social media and celebrity culture. A celebrity posts a photo wearing a new outfit, and their followers want it. So fast fashion brands rush to be the first to provide it. These brands often target young people from Gen Z who have been brought up amidst social media and influencer culture. Now, of course, the flow of causality is not that simple. Fast fashion brands are not simply reacting to consumer demand, they are also creating it. But what's so bad about it? After all, in every free society, people get to do whatever they want and buy whatever they want, right? Well, I'm not opposed to that at all. If you love a t-shirt that'll go out of fashion in a month, sure, go ahead and buy it. What I'm concerned about is that this practice is not sustainable, and it's shifting the emphasis away from quality. But let's take a more in-depth look for perspective. Here's what is so wrong with these new fashion trends. Number one, high cost. Ironic, right, that I start with this? Just moments ago, I said that these clothes were cheap. Well, yes, they are, but when I talk about high cost, I'm referring to the long-term impact. You see, keeping up with the fashion merry-go-round can and will burn a hole in your wallet. Trends in the fashion industry evolve rapidly, often appearing and disappearing in a matter of weeks or months. This compels consumers to continually update their wardrobes to stay in vogue. This is a problem, a serious one too. And we even have a name for people suffering from it: shopaholic. Everyone knows that when you add the holic word to anything, it can't be good. From statement pieces to seasonal colors and must-have accessories, the pressure to keep up can strain budgets as buyers strive to align with current styles. Fast fashion brands capitalize on the desire for newness and affordability, offering trendy items at low prices that cater to a broad audience. But in the long term, it's very expensive and borderline exploitative. By the way, if you're on board with all that I'm trying to explain, please consider hitting that like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps immensely. Number two, environmental impact. Okay, so I'm not an ecology major, and don't expect me to dive into a full-out impact assessment here, but anyone can see that fashion's quick change is hitting the planet just as hard, if not harder, than our wallets. Rapid production cycles and the constant turnover of clothing lines contribute to water pollution, textile waste, and carbon emissions. The production of synthetic fibers and the dyeing process for textiles are notorious for contaminating water sources. Additionally, the disposal of vast amounts of unsold or discarded garments further exacerbates environmental degradation. Unlike cotton or natural fibers, these synthetic materials can take hundreds of years to decompose in landfills. Moreover, the global supply chain of fast fashion involves extensive transportation and energy use, thus more greenhouse gases. These unsustainable practices highlight the urgent need for more environmentally responsible approaches in the fashion industry. Back in 2015, emissions from polyester textile production amounted to over 700 million tons of carbon dioxide. This number is comparable to the annual greenhouse gas emissions of Mexico, or 180 coal-fired power plants. And by 2030, this number is expected to double. You can make a difference by not giving in to this endless buying spree. Number 3, labor exploitation. The demand for cheap, fast fashion frequently results in the exploitation of workers in developing countries, where labor standards may be lax and oversight almost non-existent. Workers, often marginalized and vulnerable, endure unsafe working conditions and receive minimal wages. The relentless pressure to produce clothing swiftly and inexpensively can lead to excessive working hours, lack of job security, and limited access to breaks and health care. In many cases, garment workers, predominantly women, face exploitative practices such as forced overtime and verbal or physical abuse. The global supply chain of fast fashion prioritizes cost-cutting measures and profit margins over ethical considerations. Companies subcontract production to factories that prioritize speed and cost efficiency, perpetuating a cycle of exploitation and inequality. The world is slowly waking up to this reality. People are now advocating for fair wages, improved working conditions, and the empowerment of workers through collective bargaining and unionization. Transparency initiatives that disclose supply chain information and enforceable regulations can also hold brands accountable for their sourcing practices. But you are the missing link here. As a consumer, you have the final say. Fast fashion or ethical fashion? The choice is yours. Number 4, lack of individuality. Lately, have you ever felt like everyone's wearing the same thing? Following fashion trends can stifle individuality and personal style. The pressure to conform to popular trends can overshadow one's ability to express unique tastes and preferences. Trends, often dictated by influencers, celebrities, and media, can create a pervasive cultural influence that dictates what is considered stylish or desirable at any given moment. This not only limits self-expression, but also perpetuates a cycle of consumerism where the pursuit of the latest trend takes precedence over cultivating a personal style that reflects one's personality and values. Moreover, the ubiquity of mass-produced clothing and fast fashion contributes to a sense of uniformity, where many people end up wearing similar styles from the same retailers. This lack of diversity in fashion choices further diminishes opportunities for self-expression and differentiation. For example, during the summer of 2023, oversized blazers and bicycle shorts became a widespread trend after being popularized by several influential celebrities and fashion influencers. Naturally, these items quickly flooded retail stores and social media feeds. Many people, regardless of their personal style preferences, were thus seen wearing similar outfits. The trend also limited the variety of styles available in stores, making it challenging for those seeking alternative looks to find clothing that aligned with their unique fashion sensibilities. On this channel, I have repeatedly stressed for you, the audience, to embrace your individuality. Your preference, your look, and your choice matter. It matters for a reason. It makes you, you. Otherwise, you'll only be imitating. And number 5, social pressure. The pressure to keep up with fashion trends and maintain a certain appearance can and does lead to anxiety, especially among younger people. Believe me, I've been there. In today's digital age, where social media platforms prominently showcase curated lifestyles and fashion trends, there's a heightened expectation to present oneself in a stylish and aspirational manner. For many young people, particularly college students, social acceptance often hinges on fitting in with prevailing fashion norms. This pressure can lead to anxiety about one's appearance and the fear of being judged or excluded based on their clothing choices. Moreover, the rapid turnover of fashion trends perpetuated by fast fashion retailers contributes to a continuous cycle of consumerism, where people feel compelled to constantly update their wardrobe to stay relevant and fashionable. This is just not okay. Clothing should be about expressing yourself and looking presentable. It should not be a burden, period. By fostering a culture that embraces diversity and self-acceptance, together, we can mitigate the negative effects of social pressure in fashion and promote healthier attitudes towards appearance and self-image. That's it for today. Remember, fashion is all about expressing yourself. So choose wisely, embrace diversity, support sustainable fashion, and celebrate your unique style.